All right, welcome back, and this is going to be episode 1 of rebuilding the Hanchard Special. You guys might remember this car from, I think, back in June. I went to California and picked this car up and another car, so I'm finally just now getting around to getting started on this one. So this car originally ran at Bonneville starting in 2005, and it was built by Shug Hanchard, and his wife Irene drove the car. So it needs a new engine, transmission, some updates, stuff like that, and just kind of clean stuff up where it's been sitting for a while. So that's kind of my plan with this car. We're going to put it back to one of the variations that Shug and Irene had the car in, which was a blown Model A or Model B flathead 4-cylinder in a street roadster application. So it has to have rear fenders, it has to have headlights, a radiator. We'll go through all the rules and stuff in that class category as we start to put that stuff back on. So here it is, it's kind of ready to be worked on and start tearing stuff down. So I'll kind of do an overview of my plans and show you the mock-up engine, the supercharger, transmission stuff that I've got so far, and kind of do this. This is going to be a little bit of a longer term series because I'm going to hope to have it done by Speed Week in August. So that gives me roughly 6.5 months to get it done. So this might be long and drawn out, as well as doing the Streamliner. It'll be mixed in, and normal client projects in the video series along the way. So let me show you some of the stuff on the car that we're going to redo just to update and get it ready to run Bonneville now for hopefully 2024. So we have our mock-up engine here, which is a Model A flathead 4-cylinder. Obviously it's just mock-up, so there's nothing done internally. It's just here to be a placeholder while I fit it into the car, make new mounts. I'm going to put a supercharger on it. This is the same supercharger that Shug ran, and it's off of a Thunderbird Super Coupe. So we're going to make new brackets for that, get it mounted up, and we're going to remake a lot of the exhaust and the cold side of the plumbing, just to get things a little more streamlined. And there's the new transmission, which was built by Robert Burnett down in Texas for us. So it's a 700 R4, and it's going to be converterless. So here is the spur gear, or the what would be the converter to drive the pump and connect everything. So it's just going to be push off in neutral and then bump it into first. It's going to have an air shifter on it, so then it'll just be push button, first, second, third, and so on as we need it. Yeah, so that's pretty much the transmission. As of now, I'll get some more exact details from Robert, and in one of the future videos I'll talk more about that stuff, because I know he did some little tricks to it to free up some horsepower and reduce parasitic loss. So that's essentially what's going in the car drivetrain wise. And I've got a new radiator that I'm going to put in, replace this old one. We're going to end up making new hood sides and a hood top. These are a little beat up from sitting around, so I'm going to just replace those. And then I'm just going to go through all the suspension, all the steering, get everything cleaned up, and just kind of updated and freshened to make sure there's no issues. Because the last time I think this car ran was 2012, so it's been sitting for quite a while. And I just want to go through everything and make sure there's no issues with any tie rod ends being seized up, or rust, or stress cracks, or anything like that that could be a safety issue. So we're just going to go through everything on the car and make sure that the chassis and suspension are solid. And then I'm going to redo the cage here, just make it a little bit easier for me and Jimmy to hopefully get in and out of the car. And also I'm going to try to get my wife and Jimmy's wife to be the main drivers of this car. So I want to make it a little bit roomier, easier to get in and out of, move some stuff around. And again, we're just going to update some stuff. I'm going to put a new fire suppression system in it, just so all of that is nice and safe, and tidy up a few things. But I'm not really going to change much on the car. Just go through, freshen everything up, and make sure everything's updated and safe for whoever we let drive the car or we have as the main drivers. So again, I'm really excited about this project, and hopefully you guys follow along as I go through everything and get it updated You can see the ins and outs of what's involved with either refreshing or completely building a Bonneville style car, especially with the roll cage. I'm really picky on roll cage stuff, especially being an SCT inspector. I really focus on the cage, the fire suppression, and the suspension and chassis, because that's what's going to keep you safe if there's ever an incident. So I think this will be really good to show the building process, either if you buy a project that somebody else had started, or you're restoring a vintage car that you're going to put back on the salt, or just a complete fresh scratch build. So hopefully you guys stay around, check it out, and I appreciate you guys watching, and I'm going to get to tearing this car down. All right, so I'm gonna call it good on today's teardown. I got the cage out. I'll kind of take the camera around, show you the cage, and inside the cockpit without the cage. Had a couple buddies come over and help me lift the cage out, and then I forgot to hit record, so I kind of missed removing the cage, but it was just essentially picking it up and lifting it out since it was a bolt-in cage. So really happy with the amount of work I got done this afternoon, tearing everything down. I do think I'm going to put a new floor in it. It's just kind of beat up and it's a little thin, so I'd rather redo the floor with a little bit thicker material, especially since I'm going to put my wife and Jimmy's wife in the car. So I'm just going to continue tearing stuff down in the next couple episodes and get down to a clean, fresh starting point, and then we can move forward from there with rebuilding the car. So let me show you around the cage and the cockpit and show you how everything progressed with taking it apart. Here's the main part of the roll cage. So it bolts in at the bottom and sandwiches the floor and the body between it. And there was a red piece in the video, you could see me taking it off, that went from here and it looped around just to make it a little bit farther forward protection, and it bolts on to make it easier to remove the cage. So I'm going to keep this cage laying around for a couple reasons. A, it's cool that it's a piece of history with this car, but it also has the Land Speed sticker for the first book and the Land Speed Racer sticker for the second book. They have two books because I guess either they filled one up or they lost it and found the other one. So I've got both books, both stickers. So I'm going to keep that cage and the books. That way it keeps the history all together, and then I can apply for a new Land Speed Racers chassis tag. So I got that and started, got most of the steering connection points loose. I just got to pull it apart. Some wiring I pulled out. Got the steering loose here from the roll cage, and cage is all out. This is just thin aluminum that's kind of pop riveted in place. I'm going to replace this panel, the firewall, and the floor pan, and then remove some of the aluminum tin work in the back, just to gain access to get any more bolts or fasteners out and make it easier to lift the car, lift the body off when that time comes. So yeah, really happy with the way things progressed today with getting the car taken apart. And I'm going to keep plugging away, making progress. So hopefully this guy is at Bonneville this year, which is 2024. So I want to thank you guys again for checking out the channel and watching this video as well as my others. If you haven't become a subscriber yet, please hit that subscribe button, and you can keep track of all the silly things I'm getting into in the shop, whether it be personal projects like this one, or some of the other customer work up in the front of the shop. So again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I appreciate all the support you guys give, and we will catch you on the next video, and we'll see you then.